Hi, and welcome to the explanation for the Year 10 IST assessment programming. So here's the front cover, all the details are there. Obviously, you need to be aware of this one, the due date, which is the 27th of April. It's the first day back for you guys of term 2. You need to be aware of the outcomes as well, which are here. Pause if you'd like to read them. And you also need to make sure to sign your signature here to ensure that you do this, which is making sure all your assessment is your own work and you haven't copied anyone else. So make sure you do that. So basically the task is to learn how to use Scratch or Python, and you're required to create a game using Scratch or Python, whichever language you prefer. It's up to you what you want to do. You can do graphical interfaces using both Scratch and Python, but Python will lend itself more to a text-based game. You won't be penalized too much if you do Python and just make a text-based game. Similarly, Scratch is a lot easier to do, so you'll need to make a really, really good game to enable yourself to get those high marks. The final game must be appropriately reviewed at school by other students and teachers. Your final game must be accompanied by written documentation. You must complete your game in the one folder with all resources being placed in this one folder, and this folder will then be uploaded for submission. Everything you do must be linked to in this document. Okay, the most important issue is that of copyright. So you need to ensure that you have the rights to use any material that you find, or you make it yourself, and then prove that you actually made it yourself. Okay, so there'll be a section at the bottom for you to do that. You need to make sure you do that. So look at the licenses, take screenshots of them, make sure you credit the authors of those appropriately, etc. So here's some instructions on how to link or share in this assignment. Okay, please follow these every time you need to do one of the tasks in the assignment so that we can view things properly. It's really frustrating for us when we can't see something that we should be able to, and it affects the length of the marking time and things like that. So you need to make sure that it is shared with us properly so we can access that. Okay, so first task is the Gantt chart as always. There are 3 examples of the Gantt chart here. There's your basic one, there's your more advanced one, and this is the top notch, or the one that you really need to do. Okay, it's a pretty simple task to do a Gantt chart, and there's instructions here to do it. So please make sure you do the Gantt chart as soon as possible and stick it in. Next thing is summary of project and target audience. So you need to summarize your project, explaining exactly what you're going to do. You also need to describe the target audience and explain in detail the features in your game that you use to cater to this audience. Complete this in the box below. So what we're looking for here is an extensive summary of the project. We're looking that you describe the target audience and explain in detail the features that will be used to cater to this audience. Okay, that's a pretty simple thing to do. Moving on, screen designs. Okay, so we're looking for a complete screen design of your game on paper using the storyboard game template provided here. So if you click that link, you'll go to the storyboard game template, and there it is. Okay, and so from there you'll be able to print that out and do your storyboards. And you can see we've added some boxes there so you can draw your sprites. So really important that you use this template. You may need to use more boxes. In that case, just print out another template. You may need to use less boxes. It's up to you. Okay. So, use of media. You'll be using some media in this assignment, not a massive amount, but you'll be using some. The key is to ensure that you have the right to use it. So you need to prove to us that you've drawn the media, which if you're doing Scratch, you'll probably draw most of it yourself. But it's just you need to ensure that you've proved that to us. If you take media from somewhere else, you need to ensure you have the rights to use that media. So you need to screenshot the license they have, and you need to make sure that you are attributing the author correctly and so on. And then in here, you need to write the name, so anything that identifies the media you're using, and a brief description so we can work out exactly which type of media you're talking about, and then the evidence. This is where you put your screenshots, emails to the author, etc. Okay, algorithms. You'll need to create an algorithm for this, and please insert it below or a link to it. It says here for pseudocode, you may wish to write it in another document, another link to, or paste it here. That's because doing indents inside a table is not impossible, but it's a bit difficult. You have to use these buttons up here. So you might want to just do it underneath and copy and paste it up if you like. And then for flowcharts, you can draw it by hand or you can use Lizard charts. It's up to you which method you use. You don't have to use pseudocode or flowchart. You can use one or the other. So again, it's up to you which one you use. Okay. Moving down, we have data dictionary as well. All right, so you need to use a data dictionary, and what a data dictionary is just a recording of the variables and how you use them. This is the table you need to fill out here. So just ensure you fill out the table in detail, and you'll get those 5 marks. You also need to ensure you cover every single variable that you use. Okay, that's really important as well. Coding. So we'll be marking your coding. Okay, so you need to be using extensive, meaningful variable names. So not variables like X and Y. If you've got a variable that holds a name, you might say first name. Okay, and you also need to follow a modular structure, and you'll learn about that one in class. And obviously link to your source code file so we can actually see your code and mark it. As always, we've got peer review, and so students will need to be present on the day of marking so that you can mark everyone's assessment task. The marking criteria is here. It hasn't changed between your assessments, so you should be pretty familiar with this by now. Provide a link to your game so we know where it is, and we can play it easy. Alright, so evaluation. You'll need to create a evaluation of group work, okay? So this will list all activities completed by all team members and give ratings for each, and you give an overall rating. This task is completed individually, so we'll facilitate that later through a Google form probably. So your mark will be the one that you receive. The important thing here is not to lie about what your team has done. You need to specify exactly what you've done. So if you didn't work effectively as a team, you need to outline that. If you did more work than someone else or vice versa, outline that. What we're looking for here is detail and honesty, not every team member worked fantastic and we did the best work ever and we give 10 out of 10 to everyone. We want truth and honesty here to get your full marks. Evaluation, problems and solutions. So you need to describe in detail the problems that were encountered and your solutions, and provide links to YouTube, websites, manuals, etc. that provide the solutions to problems. So every time you do a project, you always have problems and solutions. You don't just always figure it out yourself. And so we want to see evidence of that process. If you just write here that you didn't have any problems, then that's obviously not going to be true. So that will affect your marks. So please outline any of the problems that you found, and then that you encountered, and the solutions you found. You might want to do this this process as you go through the assessment instead of leaving it to the last minute. The last section we have is people. So we always like to get you involved in looking at the different people that are involved in software design, or the different units that we're doing. So we want you to look up 2 different people in software design, such as graphic designers, programmers, software engineers, etc. If you've got one that you're not too sure about, you can ask your teacher about that. Look at their title descriptions, their qualifications you need, experience, and so on, and just fill out this table for 2 different roles. Okay. You need to make sure you extensively describe whether the job is suitable for you or not. Really important there. And that's basically the assessment. If you've got any questions, queries, whatever, feel free to ask your teacher at any time. And good luck.